Alright, look at this great bloody mess I've got here. So, as you will see, I do a lot. I start somewhere that's not the beginning, and this is what I'm doing this time around as well. I'm doing a bit of everything before I tackle the cockpit. So the Hobby Boss kit overall is not a lot of steps to it. So you got one, which is the cockpit part of the engine intake for gear, nose gear, and then you're straight into fuselages, halves, wings, landing gear, gear doors, the electronics doors, and then your loadout, and they give you the key of where what goes where or what can go where. So here on this page we'll look at the pylons. So this is the left wing. I've started doing the pylons. So in this kit your pylons are molded as one piece. Yay, finally someone can do it in one piece. You just have to add the sway braces, which admittedly Trumpeter and Hobby Boss, they're probably not the best. They might be a bit oversized in some cases. So I'm thinking ahead for a change. So this will be for my one of my entries, hopefully next year for QMHE. So thinking ahead for packing, this time round I'm going to have removable inner pylons so I can pack styrofoam under them. And to do this I'm using magnets. So you can see these tiny little buggers, so they're 1.58 millimeter by 1.58 millimeter, and they may look tiny but they're as strong as heck. This one I haven't put one in, there's no need, because it's like I said, I just need somewhere to pack something safely under the wing to support it. This is also an option I'm thinking of if as you know, I sell most of my builds, so the biggest part of a jet and all the pylons and that, putting it in the post, but if I can just unplug pylons it'll make it easier. So all I've done is marked, so I've set the pylon, so you will have to drill the holes for the pylons. Your wings come, so you got your upper part of the wing, and that's the midsection. Inner section of the wings, the holes are scored but they're not drilled through. You need to continue drilling them through for your pylons. And then you add the flap, put the flap in, so you sit the flap in to this part, turn it up, put the flap in, and then that bit sits on top. It sort of catches on the corner of it to hold it. So I've drilled the holes, sat the pylon in the correct number, and I've just marked it with a pencil where it sits, and I've just used the panel line on the pylon, marked it on the wing as to where I'm drilling the holes for each one. So you can see it fits in there just nicely. I do have other magnets, but they were a touch bigger, so it wouldn't have fitted on that one. And by the time you paint it, it'll still work, and where they're sitting you can't see the magnet anyway, so should be all good. Let me set that there. So the Hobby Boss kit has the doors on the open to show all the electronics bay, which is pretty nice touch. But I've built every one of them. I've had them open. This time around, I've just been checking. I should be able to just nip off these tabs so that tabs, you just slot it in there for open, but I'll nip it off and should be able to just glue them in place. Obviously it won't fit because of that tab, but I was just checking that the actual door is the right size for the remainder of that opening. And oh my goodness, it should be no problem. Again, I'm being fouled by those tabs, but just keep the lines of the aircraft. And so the triple ejection racks, pylons are 2 halves, so I've glued them together. I'm cleaning up the seams. The fuel tanks, 2 halves. Just with jets, when you follow the instructions, it's always the Ordnance is usually the last step, and sometimes by that stage I suffer from the novelties wearing off, so that's why I'm doing them up front. It's so I don't do a half-assed job at the end. Right now, so I've been putting, so I've got the brass and Edard brass and Mark 82 bombs. Leave that a minute. I need to look at the pack of ones that are not open. So I had to buy 2 packs, you get 6 in a box, so I want 6 under each wing. Unfortunately though, these bombs come, you have to glue 2 halves together, which is a bit painful. So you got to cut the rear off and the nose, and you got to glue them together, which I have done on one pack. I've got to clean up, so then you got to clean up that join. So I've been using CA glue. So a bit of a process involved there, but they must use the rear or the front for another style bomb or size bomb, I guess. That's why they're in parts. So that's the kit. That's what I'm showing that. That's the kit, Mark 82, and that's the resin one, obviously. So you can see they are different shape. The resin ones are a bit thicker through the body, and there is a bit more, you got more surface detail on the resin one, which you would hope is the case anyway, because you're paying for the aftermarket. But yeah, just a bit of a clean up. And they give you three different style fuses. So you got the I don't need that one. So you got the really short ones, the mid ones, and the really long ones. I generally like using these. I think it adds to the look of the display of the model. But I need to check when I've finished cleaning them up. I'll check how they sit on the rack as to if the rear bomb and the long fuse won't hit the front bomb. So I'll have to check that. yeah, so just a bit of groundwork to start with. Oh, and also, having built it several times, I already know that I'm in store to the canopy on this kit has a centre seam, so it has to be cleaned up. So I have to sand that out and dip it. To clear it up, I'll do that. Sure, or not now, but soon, too early on in the build, so I can dip it and let it set nice and hard. Yeah, so I've been, as usual, every time I do a build, I'll try and I'll use Google for images of the aircraft and see in the instance of how it's loaded up. So I'll be having the fuel tank inner pylon, ejection rack with the Mark 82s in the centre, and then outside one up will be left bare. And there's not really much else in the... well, there is heaps of weapons, but I'm not sure about putting great big GBUs or anything on it. The outer one might be too much weight for it. And I did find some images where it had bombs on lots of pylons, 2 pylons each wing. But I'm just going to keep the 2 loaded up, and the outer one will just be sitting. It'll be on, but not armed or loaded up with anything. Yeah, so that's it for the start. Alright, so I've got the pylons all made up now for both wings. That's all just loose fit at the moment. I did put the sway braces on this rack for the bombs. So from what I can make out from pictures, they're on there. It's just like I mentioned, I think Hobby Boss and Trumpeter, they oversize their sway braces a little bit too much. I don't think they should be that big. And no doubt you can probably buy all aftermarket pylons and all that, but I do not have it for this build. I've put in the panels so they're closed up. So once the tabs came off, I just needed to give them a bit of a sand on each edge because they were still a bit large for the opening. So that is done. I've made up... I really don't like using these. They're so... resin is so thin on these, but so you can see the kit. The light grey is the kit sidewinder, and the darker grey is the resin. So that's the Brasson again, Edard Brasson set. I haven't put the seeker head is a clear part. I'll put that on after I paint the weapon up. Just glue it on with a bit of PVA or something after it's all painted. So I'm still working on the bombs. I've done a round of filling with CA glue. Some of them need some more, so I'll have to sand again. I wish they were one piece because it's quite a process. I'm starting to think I should have just used the kit ones. But anyway, so yeah, that's about a wrap for this session. Next time I get into it, which might be for a few days, I will come back to clean those bombs up, finish doing them, and then I'll head back and start doing the Ares cockpit. So just, I won't take it out the box yet, but you can see the detail on the resin compared to the kit. Obviously it's a big upgrade. Just it'll come down to how wide it is, because I know I haven't used the I haven't done a Corsair A-7 with these, but I've done one. I've done a Super Sabre F100 with one of these, and I had a lot of trouble getting it to fit in to the fuselage of the width of the present part. But having said that, that was like a long time ago now, and it could have just been me being amateur. Well, more amateur than what I am now. When I first got back in the hobby, I did that, so could be the reasoning. Anyway, I'll soon see. So obviously this is that's your intake, so it's not a through intake. So a lot of, again, filling and cleaning that up once it goes together. Yeah, so once that goes in, that'll be probably one of the biggest parts of it, I think, and the engine section, which I've had a look. This looks really nice, because I do know that this kit that's one of its areas it's lacking. It's pretty basic with the engine of it. Where is it? Where? Up here. So that's just your rear of the nozzle and the the bulkhead, and you got the nozzle section, and that's like the rear of the jet engine at the back. So it's pretty basic, whereas this looks really nice. So you can see apples and oranges really, but a lot of cleanup to be done yet. So you can see that's upgrade much, but again, you got to build a model. You want to take into consideration how much money you want to spend on it. I haven't used any of this before, so I'm giving it a go. Yes, fantastic detail, but really, unless you get in there and look inside, you don't really see it. But that's why we have choices, I guess, for what you want to do. And you got to remember, as to the kit detail, you're talking about the kit's only about 45 Australian dollars, I think, somewhere around there. It's a cheap kit, so it's get what you pay for, I guess. Anyway, I'm waffling on now, so that's it.